Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to our online Kashmir Cultural Heritage Awareness Series. Today is our 96th and is going to be by Sri Seetharaman on Acharya Abhinavagupta. We begin with our prayer by Sri Vatsam residents. These two ladies who are going to join us for prayer play a vital role in keeping this retirement community with so much activity, with dance, drama, and literature. I'm sure we will have a proper introduction by Seetharaman later on. Please, Vasanti, can you join?
Sure.
देवराज सेव्यमान भावनाङ्कृपङ्कजं व्यालयज्ञसूत्रमिन्दुशेखरं कृपाकरं नारदादियोगिवृन्दवन्दितं दिगम्बरं काशिकापुरादिनाथकालभैरवं भजे भानुकोटिभास्वरं भवाब्धितारकं परं नीलकण्ठमीप्सितातदायकं त्रिलोचनं कालकालमम्बुजाक्षमंशूलमक्षरं काशिकापुरादिनाथकालभैरवं भजे शूलटङ्गपाशदण्डपाणिमादिकारणं श्यामकायमादिदेवमक्षरं निरामयं भीमविक्रमं प्रभुं विचित्रताण्डवप्रियं काशिकापुरादिनाथकालभैरवं भजे भुक्तिमुक्तिदायकं रसचारुविग्रहं भक्तवत्सलं सितं समस्तलोकविग्रहं निग्वणन्मनोज्ञहेमकिङ्किणीलसत्कटिं काशिकापुरादिनाथकालभैरवं भजे धर्मसेतुपालकं स्वधर्ममार्गनाशकं कर्मभाषमोचकं सुशर्मदायं विभुं स्वर्णवर्णशेपपाशदोभिकाङ्गमण्डलं काशिकापुरादिनाथकालभैरवं भजे रत्नपादुका प्रभाभिरामपादयुग्मकं नित्यमद्वितीयमिष्टदैवतं निरञ्जनं मृत्युदर्भनाशनं करालदंशमोक्षणं काशिकापुरादिनाथकालभैरवं भजे अट्टहासभिन्नपद्मजाण्डकोशसन्ततिं दृष्टिपादनष्टपापजालमोग्रशासनम् अष्टसिद्धिदायकं कपालमालिगन्धरं काशिकापुरादिनाथकालभैरवं भजे भूतशङ्कनायकं विशालकीर्तिदायकं काशीवासलोकपुण्यपापशोधकं विभुं नीतिमार्गगोविदं पुरातनं जगत्पतिं काशिकापुरादिनाथकालभैरवं भजे कालभैरवार्चकं पठन्ति ये मनोहरं ज्ञानमुक्तिसाधनं विचित्रपुण्यवर्धनं शोकमोहदैन्यलोपकोपतापनाशनं ते प्रयान्ति कालभैरवाङ्घ्रिसन्निधं ध्रुवं काशिकापुरादिनाथकालभैरवं भजे काशिकापुरादिनाथकालभैरवं भजे काशिभैरवं भजे कालभैरवं भजे.
Oh, thank you, ladies, so much. It was so nice that you joined us at very short notice. Sir, you have so much talent in Srivatsam. Kindly say a few words about the ladies who rendered the prayer today.
First of all, I would like to thank them for a very appropriate prayer for the speech. Today, we are going to talk about Acharya Abhinavagupta. According to the great scholar Lakshman Ju. He is actually an incarnation of in a Bhairava form. So the Bhairava Astakam by Mrs. Vasanti Sampath and Anusuya Ramakrishnan is absolutely beautiful. They are contributing to Srivatsam's beautiful life in terms of art and culture. They have formed Srivatsam Swaralaya, Srivatsam Bhaktamantari, Srivatsam stage creations, all type of bhakti activities, cultural activities, and as well as in terms of entertainment, drama activities. Even in dramas, historical play, religious play, as well as social play, all initiated by them and executed them very nicely. So you can also invite them for your other shows.
Yeah, I could see that. In fact, you sent me the link, which I thought I'll share with our viewers. That is you, correct? That is a program clipping on Yatiraja Vaibhavam drama where you played the role of Sri Ramanuja. Is that right?
Yeah, it is right, sir. So some
and
3 days
all
back.
your most of the residents joined you in that one. And
Yes.
we are so
Yes.
delighted that you are joining us for the third time,
Yes, sir.
proving that Tamil Kashmiri connection. And your earlier topics, viewers, if you have not been here, his earlier programs were on Kashmiri Saivaism and also Tirumular's Tirumandiram. Tirumular himself, a Kashmiri Pandit who hailed from Tamil Nadu. Please, it was just about a month ago. Please go back and watch his two programs, which were very, very interesting. And Seetharaman, as I know, is a creator of two retirement communities outskirts of Kumbakonam. One in near Tiruvadai Marudur or Tiruvisanallur. The other one is coming up in Govindapuram. But recently I came to know, thanks to our earlier one of our speakers, TKV Rajan, he introduced that Seetharaman could be a great asset for our Kashmiri series. So he'll be joining us periodically and rendering more and more series on Kashmir. So one more thing I just wanted to highlight today before you take over.
Yes, sir.
Just a reminder that yesterday, January 19th, was Hindu Genocide Day, also known as Kashmir Exodus Day. That was just,
my God.
Yes, 34 years ago this happened. Unfortunately, no media coverage those days, but it is so well remembered year after year. In fact, if you go back our previous sessions, we had one session on this Hindu genocide. So I thought I highlight this, and also
oh my God. My God.
who happen to be our speakers also. So January 19 is a very important day for Kashmiri Hindus. So with this, I would hand over to you. And once again, thank you for joining for the third time. And you are a very resourceful person, and we will have more such Tamil Kashmiri connection topics soon.
Thank you, sir. Can we start?
Yes, please go ahead. You can go ahead if you want any presentation to make. Let me know. Otherwise, you can just
Yeah, definitely,
deliver
sir.
your
For your
topic lecture.
information,
Okay.
last week we have released two books, one from Mr. TKV Rajan and others from mine. Kanji to Cambodia is book number 1. Trikasaivism from Kashmir to Tamil Nadu. It is written by
Oh,
me.
okay.
So it will
Mhm.
be available in the printed format in the first week or second week of February. So I will definitely courier one to you.
Oh, that's really interesting. We have one Kashmiri Pandit, Rohini Vaishnavi, who does
Okay.
all the book review sessions with us. She has done several
Okay.
book reviews on Kashmir. Maybe
Okay.
your book we can take up for a review
Oh
sometime
yes.
in February or March. That'll be really interesting. We can
Yeah.
promote your
Yeah.
book also.
Definitely.
It'll be very interesting.
Yeah. Definitely, sir. Definitely.
When will
But
that be released, or is done already? The book.
book is almost in the final format. It might be ready the second week of February in a printed form.
I'll get a copy from you and also pass it on to Rohini ji. She would
Yeah.
be very interested, and we can have a book review session. Please. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Today, I think as you have introduced with your channel, we have already done Trikasaivism and the connection between Trikasaivism and Tirumulas Tirumandaram in 2 sessions. Today we are going to talk about the great Acharya Abhinavagupta of Kashmir, who is the instrumental for Trikasaivism of Kashmir. According to Swami Lakshman Ju, he is just not an Acharya. He is Shiva incarnate to enlighten the people. This is what Swami Lakshman Ju said about Acharya Abhinavagupta. Acharya Abhinavagupta was one of Bharat's great literary critics and philosophers. He was a master of the Kula school of Saivism. He was a but he wrote commentaries elucidating various texts and schools of thought. His ability to clarify the meaning of ancient texts through the application of reason and logic, and through his personal experience of religious practices, which helped to popularize Kashmiri Saivism in a bigger way across the world. His magnum opus work, Tantra Loka, which means the light of Tantras, which appears to have been written after Acharya Abhinavagupta had attained the enlightenment, is one of the great accomplishments in Indian religious thought and influenced the understanding of the inner meaning of ritual in the Shiva and the Shakta schools for centuries afterward. Acharya Abhinavagupta also wrote on aesthetics, music, and a variety of other subjects. His 2 famous commentaries on poetry, drama, and dance, the Lokana of the Dvanyaloka and the Abhinava Bharati on the Natya Sastra, engage almost every important aspect of Bharatiya aesthetics. Kashmir Saivism teaches that monistic thought can be practiced by anyone, man or woman, without the restriction of caste, creed, or color. Kashmir Saivism, therefore, is a universal system, pure, real, and substantial in every respect. It regards consciousness to be one and indivisible. எனக்கு கொஞ்சம் எக்கோ கேட்டுட்டு இருக்கேன்.
Your other one is not working. That's why I brought this.
Okay, sir. Okay. So you are able to hear me now?
Yeah, this is fine. This is working fine.
Okay. Yeah, then that's okay. So Abhinavagupta was. I should mute my headphone completely. Are you able to hear me, sir?
Yeah, go ahead. It's okay.
Abhinavagupta was one of the most outstanding acharyas of the Saiva philosophy. We learn from references about Acharya Abhinavagupta in Tantraloga and Paratrimsiha Vivarana that he lived in Kashmir about the end of the 10th and the beginning of 11th centuries CE. The earliest ancestor of Abhinavagupta was a famous Brahmin, Atrigupta, who lived in Atravedi, the ancient name of tract of land lying between the Ganga and the Yamuna. Atrigupta, a great Shaiva teacher, was invited by King Lalitaditya, who ruled over Kashmir from 700 to 736 CE. A spacious house was soon built by the orders of the king on the banks of the Zeelam, which is called in the Puranas Pitastha for Atrigupta, and a big Jahir was granted to him for its maintenance. Many generations after him, one of his descendants, named Varahagupta, became a great scholar of Shaiva philosophy. His son, Narasimhagupta, alias Shukala, father of Abhinavagupta, was also a great Shaiva teacher. Abhinava's real personal life is gleaned from his concluding verses suffixed to his great works, the most voluminous Tantraloga and the short and the most abstruse Paratrishika Vivarana. Abhinava and his Kashmir, both are the valued common heritage of mankind. Acharya Abhinavagupta was a people-friendly saint, scholar come philosopher, who is said to have dared to shatter the then prevalent stereotypes of narrow-mindedness, of supposed caste supremacy, and gender prejudices. The scale of Abhinavagupta's personality, the authority and the scope of his written heritage in Indian spiritual and culture is astounding. He is one of the most prominent representatives of Kashmiri Saivism. In particular, its non-dualistic direction. Acharya Abhinavagupta was a great tantric yogi who made an invaluable contribution to the development and restoration of this spiritual tradition, which existed from his time. It was around 1000 to 1500 years old. How did he achieve all this? Sir, கேட்கறதா? You are at backstage in வந்திருக்க.
Yeah, everything
It's
is
online?
fine. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. So whom did he learn all this? His thirst for knowledge was insatiable. A bevy of gurus was adopted by him for his knowledge accumulation purpose. According to his own statement, he read at the feet of many gurus, right from his father. From his father, Narasimhagupta, he learnt Sanskrit grammar. Another Acharya called Vainanatha, from him he learnt Dvaidvaita Tantras. One more Acharya called Bodhi Rajatanaya. Bodhi Rajatanaya. From him he has learnt dualistic Saivism. And another Acharya called Bhuti Raja. From him he has learnt the Brahma Vidya. And one more Acharya is named Indu Raja. From him he has learnt Dhvani. Finally, not but least, from Acharya Lakshmanagupta, he has learnt the famous philosophy Pratyabhijna, where he specialized and utilized this particular school of thought into the Trigasaivism. Because of this particular Pratyabhijna system of Trigasaivism, he reached the world forever. He is not only specialized in terms of religion and philosophy. Basically, he is a seeker, but adorer of the nature. He talks very high about the Kashmir and its surrounding and its people. We can see one example here, where here and there the sages make their dwelling, where in every place resides Shiva himself, except such a place as Kashmir. I feel for the fulfillment of all wishes and for the achievement of the perfect spiritual life and the perfect spiritual realization, there is no other place in the world. This is what Acharya Abhinavagupta told about the beautiful Kashmir. How about Kashmiris and its life there in his period? He also beautifully narrated this in a beautiful sloga, where everybody is either a poet or a learned person, where even a warrior is capable of learned discourses, where women of the cities are remarkable with luster of the moon and charming gait. Now let us get into the Kashmiri Saivism formed by the great Acharya Abhinavagupta. As we know, Acharya Abhinavagupta was a great scholar and Shaiva teacher who possessed knowledge in all matters relating to Kashmir Saivism. The versatility of this genius was recognized in his own time. That's very important. It doesn't happen to everyone. Luckily, And we are the luckiest one. It happens to him. He was recognized by each and every Pandits of the North. That is why many of his works, saved by many of his students and the Pandits who were adored his fantastic spiritualistic work. He was one of the best authorities on Shaiva philosophy and various branches of Sanskrit literature. The great Acharya sat at the feet of many teachers, as we have seen above, for the traditional and authoritative knowledge. Such was his humility and devotion that these teachers imparted to him all the learning they possessed. The celebrated author of Kavya Prakash, Rajanaga Mamata, calls him the Shankaracharya of Kashmir. In his Tantraloka and other great works, he has summarized 8 great yogic powers. In our last episode, exactly we have compared these 8 yogic powers with Tirumala's Tirumandaram. Let us see one by one. The first one is the superhuman power of becoming as small as an atom. The second one is the yogic power of increasing the size of one's own body at will. The third is the supernatural power of assuming excessive lightness at will. The fourth is the superhuman power of obtaining anything desired. The fifth one is the yogic power of attaining irresistible will. The sixth one is the superhuman power of commanding the whole world. The seventh yogic power is to fascinate the whole universe. And the eighth one is to possess unrestrained will, which means whatever he wills comes true. According to the many Acharyas, followed by Acharya Abhinavagupta and the great Acharya Lakshmanju, they are of the opinion all these 8 yogic powers were possessed by Acharya Abhinavagupta. In Malini Vijayottara Sastra, he explains how do we know that a man who is a sadhaka in a spiritualistic path, he is getting or receiving these 8 yogic powers. Acharya Abhinavagupta himself answered. He is indicating that there are 6 signs. If that 6 signs are shown in a sadhaka, he is in the divine path of accessing the yogic powers. Let us see that 6 signs one by one. The number 1 sign, unswerving devotional attachment to Shiva. Secondly, full attainment of mantra siddhi. Thirdly, attainment of controlling power over all the 5 elements. The fourth sign is capacity to accomplish the desired results. The fifth one, mastery over the whole science of rhetoric and poetics. The sixth one is the sudden dawning of the knowledge of all the Shastras in the world. If you are seeing any one of the sign, he is just into the path. If he is having more than two or three, he is already making his journey to secure a place in the field of spirituality. If you see all the six signs, he attains all the 8 yogic powers. After attaining the yogic powers, the real spiritualistic journey starts. That's what Acharya Abhinavagupta explains in his magnum opus, Tantra Loga. Prior to Acharya Abhinavagupta, there existed Kashmiri Saivism, but it is scattered into 4 major schools of thought. Everyone and every system leads to super consciousness, but there is some gap. So Acharya Abhinavagupta filled the gap and synthesized all 4 schools of thought and gave a name, Trika Saivism. The Trika Saivism is, we can say, it's a synonym to Kashmir Saivism. Trika means threefold signs of man and his world. This Trika contains the signs of individual, the energy, and the universal. The purpose of Trika is to show how an individual rises to the state of universal through energy. The Trika philosophy is classified by Acharya Abhinavagupta in 4 systems, which are Krama system, Spanda system, Kula system, and Pratyabhijana system. Acharya Abhinavagupta says he is not only a spiritualistic person through his yogic powers. From his verses, we could understand he has gone beyond the body, mind, and soul. He has gone beyond space and time. From his explanation, we can get to know this. While explaining the Krama system, he says Krama deals with space and time. He explains that actually there is no space. When one deals with forms, the space appears. When one is established in formless state of being, for him there is no space. In the same way, when there is something to be done, then only the existence of time shines. And when you have nothing to do, then time has no existence. In Tamil Nadu, there is a colloquial language. People used to say, "Sevanene irundhenpa naan paattukku appadinu." The meaning, if someone is meditating beyond space and time, there is nothing to be achieved, there is nothing there. So this is what he is trying to explain in the Krama system. When nothing is to accomplish, there is no time concept. If there is no form, there is no space. So Acharya Abhinavagupta, through his Krama system, He explains space and time in a fantastic manner. Explaining the Spanda system by Acharya Abhinavagupta is also a brilliant one. Even today's science will go with it. Acharya Abhinavagupta says that it is that movement which actually is no movement. Spanda Maxes realized that whatever is in movement actually is established in unmoved point. So although everything seems moving, actually it is not moving at all. This is what he explains about Spanda. And he is basically a master of Kula system. That is what his life history says. He is a grandest master of Kula system the Kashmiri history has ever seen. As far as the Kula system, he says that Kula means the science of totality. In each and every part of the universe, totality shines. Each and every part of the universe, totality shines throughout. Take a small part of any object. In that part, you will see the universal energy existing. The Pratyabhijana system deals with the school of recognition. Acharya Abhinavagupta, while explaining the school of recognition, says, to make it clear, at the time of God realization, nothing new is realized. On the contrary, the yogi feels that this state of God consciousness, which he was experiencing, was already known to him. In the school of recognition, Acharya Abhinavagupta says, the state of God consciousness is already there. He comes to the conclusion that in this universe, you have to see and realize the kingdom of God consciousness only, everywhere, and nothing else. Acharya Abhinavagupta was not only a prolific writer, but also a man of letters, of unfathomable wisdom and deep philosophical insights, an aesthetician, and above all, a yogi par excellence. While explaining the Triga system, he introduced many ubayas to achieve the desired result in the spiritualistic path. According to him, ubayas lead one to the state of one's transcendental consciousness. The difference in these ubayas is that anavopaya will carry one in a long way, shaktobaya in a shorter way, and shampavobaya is the shortest way. Although the ways are different, the point to be achieved is one, which is moksha, is fullness of Shiva, or realization as one's own self as Shiva. So the Trigasaivism of Kashmir has been called the religion of grace. Acharya Abhinavagupta appropriately called his synthesis of all the schools of Kashmir Saivism the Trika or triadic Saivism, with Shiva, Shakti, and Nara making up the triad. Trika believes in the existence of numerous realms besides our empirical world, and these realms are thought to be inhabited by beings invisible to the naked eye. Acharya Abhinavagupta comes to the conclusion that in this universe, you have to see and realize the kingdom of God consciousness only, everywhere, or nothing else. He also gives a new meaning to ahimsa. The real ahimsa is not external, but that which is constantly happening within ourselves. It consists of discovering the non harming of our original divine nature. In the discovery of awareness of Shiva, permeating all aspects of existence without exception. To see and recognize your fetters, to break out of the convenient yoke of the ego, and to do it yourself without waiting for any external help is a truly heroic act. Many works have been attributed to Acharya Abhinavagupta, but only few are extant. We can, in India, there are plenty of libraries. Across India, among these libraries, there are 248 manuscripts by Acharya Abhinavagupta have been found. From that, some work of him have been restored to our view. So we can see what are all. So this much we have blessed. One among his greatest work is Bhairava Stotra. The second one is Malini Vijaya Vartika. Third one is Bharatanaट्य Sastra. Fourth one is Dvanmaloka Lochana. Fifth one is Natya Lochana, Purva Panchika, Gidartha Sankraha, Bodha Pancha Dashika, Paramartha Charcha, Dehastha Devada Krashotra, Paratrimshiga Vivarana, Paratrimshiga Laguviti, Kramasostra, Ishvara Pratyabhignya Vimarsani, Ishvara Pratyabhignya Vivarti Vimarshani, Paramartha Sara, Tantra Loga, and Tantra Sara. These are all the works by Acharya Abhinavagupta is available for us, which is a great news because our ancient wisdom is priceless, invaluable. That too, Acharya Abhinavagupta cannot be matched with any other sages in the world. Besides these, he wrote many other books. One of his devotee, Mathuraja, is believed that he hails from the south, Madurai. A devotee of Abhinavagupta writes that his opinion about Acharya Abhinavagupta, as he's seen as a guru in person, he says, Lord Sri Kanta Nath, Shiva, Lord Srikantanatha Siva himself appeared in Kashmir in the form of Acharya Abhinavagupta to enlighten the people. Mathuraja also asserts that Abhinavagupta was, in fact, the incarnation of Bhairavanath Shiva. Now you can relate. While two ladies from Srivatsam singing the Bhairavastaka, which is very much goes with the session. I thank them in this moment. So in conclusion, I would say that Abhinavagupta was the pride of Kashmir, is even now the pride of Kashmir, as his works and teachings continue to deeply influence the discerning people. From his Paramarthasara, there are 4 major sayings. You all know Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda says, be with the people, those who can inspire you. Such an inspiration from Acharya Abhinavagupta from this Paramarthasara. Even a layman can get inspired and get into the spiritual path. The Saram number 1. It is in me that this universe reveals itself, like vases and other objects in a spotless mirror. Saram number 2. From me, everything arises, just as the many different dreams arise from sleep. Saram number 3. It is I whose form is this universe. Just as a body has hands, feet, and sense of organs. It is I who shines in everything, like a light shining in different forms. Probably we can summarize these 4 substances from his entire work to get an inspiration to start a spiritual journey. Trikha philosophy has something much greater to offer in the society. It is regarding understanding other, resolving conflicts, and harmonious coexistence. When one follows this path of the transcendental reality according to the teaching of the Master, suddenly by means of extremely intense Shakti path, one certainly becomes Shiva himself. These words from Acharya Abhinavagupta from his Paramarthasara, verse number 96. By focusing on the revelation of supreme consciousness, he unveils the inner self. Thus, great Shiva unfolds his prodigious game of bondage and liberation. This is also from his Paramarthasara, verse number 33. And the fantastic statement he made, which can inspire everyone, those who feel diffident. Oh my Lord, I cannot get into the path of spirituality. They must see the statement which follows. Just as the surface of the firmament is not soiled by the clouds, smoke, and dust, in the same way, the Supreme Spirit is not affected by the modifications of Maya, which also comes in his Paramarthasara, verse number 36. Thus, awakened by the power of mystic insight, he sacrifices all dualistic thoughts in the luminous flame of the self and becomes identical to that light. This also comes in Paramarthasara. The Tantraloka and Paramarthasara, if one can follow these two, they can definitely get into the realm of God's consciousness. He who has broken the bonds of ignorance, who has conquered doubt and error, in whom good and bad actions have been annihilated, this one is liberated even though he remains in the body. This also comes in his Paramarthasara, verse number 61 and 68. So, in conclusion, I myself also, along with other great scholars of India and the world, declare that Acharya Abhinavagupta is one of the great gurus of the universe has ever seen. Thanks for the great opportunity. Thank you so much. Sir, கேக்குறதா? I'm not able to hear.
Acharya Abhinavagupta, great gurus world has ever seen. Very fascinating. You talked about yogic powers, the science, Paramarthasara. I think all by themselves will have topics to ponder over again in your future. Maybe you can take each topic and talk about that at length. The science, especially. We see science in so many people. So
Definitely,
those are
sir.
the
Definitely.
signs.
It's my pleasure.
Sir, one more thing. You mentioned Acharya Abhinavagupta time period is around, I think, 10th century, right? I think.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It
10th or
is
11th.
Contemporary of Rajaraja in South.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Rajaraja Cholan time period.
Yeah,
You can see all the
in my book,
reflection of.
I'm explaining the connections exactly between North and South. In
We
terms
could
of
see all that in the Tanjore temple, right? All this, what
yes,
you
yes,
touched
yes.
upon, Natya Shastra.
In that line, the
and-
temple architecture helps me so much.
Right. Very interesting. All this must have been in Sanskrit, right? All this
Yes, sir.
written in Sanskrit.
Yes.
And
Yes, you're
I'm
right.
sure you must have read several times Ponniyin Selvan. In
Yes.
Ponniyin Selvan, I don't know whether Kalki made a lot of research into this. Aniruddha,
Yes.
the minister, and
Yes.
Rajarajan's sister, Kundavai,
Yes.
she was asking him that he should take her to Kashmir for higher education. Something like that. There is a scene or a text. So it's
Okay.
a great connection. Huh? Whatever you said now in the north-south connection.
Yeah. That is why in today's presentation, I made a mention about Madhuraja from Madurai.
Mm.
So when Acharya Abhinavagupta and Rajaraja is in contemporary, the Madhuraja might have been the connection point between North and South.
Well,
We need to
fascinating.
work more to establish this.
Very interesting.
Today
Thank
I
you.
have boldly said about Madhuraja because
Yes.
I have read through many scholars. More than 3 scholars mentioned about Madhuraja. So that's why I have boldly said about him.
Right. Yeah, I made a note of that, what you said. Yes. Very good. Thank you so much for your time and this much research
Thank you, sir.
to come and talk to us about North-South Kashmiri Tamil connection.
Definitely, sir.
As
Definitely.
always, we look forward to seeing you again and we'll talk to you.
Probably in our next talk, we may talk about Kalhanas Rajatarangani.
Rajataranga, yes, we covered that earlier. Nice to hear from you too on that.
Yeah.
Chronicles,
So
yes.
you have, if you are covered already, we can talk something else.
No, it's that was in the very early stage. It was 2 years ago. One Bombay Kannan spoke about that. And it's also a very favorite topic of His Holiness. Always talks about Raj Tarangini. So your perspective on that will be interesting too. We'll get back to you on that.
My perspective is absolutely with the reference of history and the chronology of many kings.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
And look forward to seeing you. And you have enough resources in Srivatsam, so we can explore all that too. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, viewers. It was a very fascinating discussions, research and presentation by Seetharaman of Srivatsam. As I mentioned, is a creator of 2 great retirement communities, one coming up near Govindapuram. Both are within about 10-15 kilometers from Kumbakonam. We want to thank Kanchi Mutt channels, YouTube and Facebook, also Kamakoti.tv and Dinavalar for covering all our series every week, either Wednesday or Thursday, giving maximum publicity to Kashmir series, and also VDSP for all the streaming support as always. Thank you so much, and we will see you again in February. Hare Shankara, Jai Jai Shankara.